So these are just some solutions that I've, listed. We got to admit the problem. We got to get counseling. We need better food, better education, and better entertainment. We got to admit the problem. Mental health is the foundation. This is from the American Psychiatric Association. Mental health is the foundation for emotions, thinking, communication, learning, resilience, and self-esteem. Mental health is also key to relationships, personal and emotional well-being, and contributing to community or society. Many people who have a mental illness do not want to talk about it. But mental illness is nothing to be ashamed of. It is a medical condition, just like heart disease or diabetes, and mental health conditions are treatable. We are continually expanding our understanding of how the human brain works, and treatments are available to help people successfully manage mental health conditions. Mental illness does not discriminate. It can affect anyone regardless of your age, gender, geography, income, social status, race, ethnicity, religion, spirituality, sexual orientation, background, or other aspect of cultural identity. While mental illness can occur at any age, 3/4 of all mental illness begins by age 24. Mental illnesses take many forms. Some are mild and only interfere in limited ways with daily life, such as certain phobias, abnormal fears. Other mental health conditions are so severe that a person may need care in a hospital. Admit the problem. This is from the Mayo Clinic. Prevention. There's no sure way to prevent mental illness. However, if you have a mental illness, taking steps to control stress, to increase your resilience, and to boost low self-esteem may help keep your symptoms under control. Follow these steps. Pay attention to warning signs. Work with your doctor or therapist to learn what might trigger your symptoms. Make a plan so that you know what to do if symptoms return. Contact your doctor or therapist if you notice any changes in symptoms or how you feel. Consider involving family members or friends to watch for warning signs. Note, the warning signs are there, guys. The warning signs are there. Again, if you are supporting and consuming and indulging in this manosphere stuff, warning sign. There you go. There's one. Because that stuff is not good. Like, I understand you're trying to boost your self-esteem or whatever, but getting to the point of narcissism, being narcissistic and having healthy self-esteem are not the same thing. Get routine medical care. Don't neglect checkups or skip visits to your primary care provider, especially if you aren't feeling well. You may have a new health problem that needs to be treated, or you may be experiencing side effects of medication. Get help when you need it. Mental health conditions can be harder to treat if you wait until symptoms get bad. Like I said, Black men are suffering from this because of years and years of compound stuff. So yeah, it's going to be very hard to deal with this stuff, but it needs to be dealt with. Long-term maintenance treatment also may help prevent a relapse of symptoms. Take good care of yourself. Sufficient sleep, healthy eating, and regular physical activity are important. Try to maintain a regular schedule. Talk to your primary care provider if you have trouble sleeping or if you have questions about diet and physical activity. So, admitting the problem. Also, counseling. These are 2 resources that I've personally used, and I'm sure there are many more. But we got to get counseling. We need help. So I would recommend betterhelp.com, and also another resource is Whole Brother Mission. Both of these are fairly affordable and good counseling options to work through your stuff. Like, if you want to get better, you got to get help. But it starts with you saying, I need help, admitting the problem, and actually taking the steps to do it. Another solution, better food. We got to change our eating habits. Like chips and soda and fried foods and things that are just not good for us. That stuff is impacting our minds. It's impacting the way we live. It's impacting the way we think.
So, changing our eating habits is definitely something that will help us deal with this mental health and mental illness situation that's happening within our community. And 2 good resources that I would recommend are Dr. Layla Africa. You can go to his website. It's just laylaafrica.com, or just Google his name and you'll find a lot of resources. He also has a YouTube channel where you can get a lot of information. And he actually has different talks and lectures and talks about how the food is impacting our mental health. Another resource is Yaki Awakened, another brother that has a lot of content, a lot of in-depth and deep, scientifically proven and supported evidence and information that is beneficial for our community. So I would definitely recommend those 2, Dr. Layla Africa and Yaki Awakened. They both have websites. They're both very easy to Google, and they have their own YouTube channels. So definitely go check those out.
Another solution, better education. Education and information crafted for Black Americans. We need that. We need that. Like, it's important that, like, I'm sure we're fully aware that this system that we live in, this American system, isn't really beneficial to us. We can benefit from it, sure, but it's not really meant for us. It's not meant to help us as Black people, and especially as Black men. Again, yes, there are tons of resources and things that we should be taking advantage of. We should, but we need to make sure that we're getting education that actually helps us in a good way. Education that helps us to see ourselves better, to understand things better, and to look at the world in a more effective way. To be healthy Black men, not to try to just become weird versions of white men. Like, whiteness isn't the status we should be pursuing, but that's often what we see in regards to, like, again, this manosphere stuff and the stuff that we see in this culture. Like, whiteness is the thing to strive for, the pinnacle, and that's not true. And as a Black man, as a Black person, you will never be a white man. It's not gonna happen. It's not. No matter how much money you get, no matter who you marry or whatever, it's not gonna happen. And this culture is gonna do everything it can to keep that from happening. So we might as well learn how to be the best Black people, how to be the best people that we can be. And there are wonderful resources out there for that. And the one that I would recommend is Dr. Boyce Watkins, the Black Business School. And again, Dr. Boyce Watkins, he has a YouTube channel, he has Instagram, he has a Twitter. He's full of wonderful, wonderful information, personal development information, financial information, a lot of this stuff. A lot of people in the manosphere or whatever like to call him a simp, but I appreciate Dr. Boyce Watkins because I can tell he actually cares about the Black community, and he's doing what he can to make sure things get better for us and for, the generations to come. Another solution, better entertainment. We need more examples of positive Black men. Yeah, there's tons of Black men in entertainment, but that does not mean that they are good examples. That does not mean that they're good examples. So we need more examples of positive Black men. And these are two that I would recommend that I personally enjoy and that I try to consume as often as I can. Belief in Fatherhood. Just go check out his channel. His whole focus is trying to be a good example of a father for his children, but for others to see as well. Black man. Positive example. Another example is Kev on Stage. I mean, he's involved in comedy and things like that, but he's still providing an example of how to make a positive influence and impact in our community and in his family and things of that nature. Like, these are good examples. And there are many, many, many more out there, but they don't always get the shine that they deserve. And so I'm recommending these two. But if there are others that definitely recommend them, definitely share them, and definitely support them, because we need more positive examples of Black men. We do. And since we're often consume entertainment, we need more positive examples and positive things to consume. Just like with food, we need better things to consume for our minds and our souls and our hearts. So in conclusion, I believe Black men are responsible for the state of the Black community. It's a heavy burden, but it's a burden God designed men to carry. I do think mental illness has had a huge impact on the Black community, specifically Black men, and its impact has led us to where we are today. Black men haven't been thinking right and well for a very long time, which leads to bad behavior, bad relationships, and bad decisions. I really do believe once we acknowledge and address this issue, and as men, we accept the state that we're in, collectively, not as individuals, because, sometimes we'll be like, well, it ain't me. Ain't got nothing to do with me. That's not how I am. Nah, man, like, if our community is burning, we have a part to play in it. Please, 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 please don't try to just isolate yourself. That's not good. Like, well, I'm doing all right. This ain't my situation. We know that it reflects on all of us. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know that's a fact. And we do our best to try to separate ourselves from this and that. But no, like, again, you're hearing these conversations and these responses online from women who are divesting and things like that. Sure, you could be like, well, that ain't me. Like, I ain't doing that. I'm not quote unquote Pookie and Ray Ray. I'm not a Dusty or whatever. Man, if you're a Black man, you are in the mix, because you're one bad decision away from being one of those. You're one bad decision from being another statistic. So don't isolate yourself. I'm talking about the collective. Our community as a whole needs to get better. And there's been a lot of work to keep our community messed up. And I think a big part of that is mental illness. and we need to address it. We can make the choice to use these suggested solutions and begin to do the work to heal ourselves and ultimately heal our community. Again, the whole point of this talk, I'm just trying to share some thoughts. I'm just trying to acknowledge a situation that we need to deal with it. We really do. And again, I say that to myself as I'm saying it to whoever's watching as well. We got to deal with these problems. We got to get better. We got to do better for our community, for ourselves, for our women, for our future children. We got to do better. We have to acknowledge that at times our mind is not where it should be, and it's not in a good, healthy place. And we need to do the work to be healthy. We need to do the work to be whole. We need to do the work so that we can be more effective as men in this world. My intentions are good. I hope you understand that. Again, I'm not trying to identify mental illness as a scapegoat for the behavior of Black men. No, I'm not. Like I mentioned, I shared mental illness is something that's treatable, and it's something that we need to treat. We need to. And yeah, it's going to be hard. And yeah, it requires vulnerability. And yeah, it requires honesty and truth. It requires breaking generational curses. It requires humbling ourselves. But if we're trying to be quote unquote kings and leaders and stuff, that's what good kings and leaders do. They take ownership of their issues and their problems, and they humble themselves and commit to doing the work to get better. So it's possible, guys. It's possible to do the work to heal, to get better, and to change our community and to have a positive impact on this world that we live in. It's possible. These are the references. I'll just leave these up and just end with the fact that, like, I get it. It's hard, and I get it. There's a lot of hurt that's there. But we got to stop making excuses. If this stuff is important to us, and this may not be important to everybody, I get it. Some guys would be like, yo, you're crazy. You're simping, and you have no idea what you're talking about. Okay. If that's how you feel, that's how you feel. You know, I'm sure there will be, if anybody watches this, I'm sure there will be, you know, those who will respond in a very violent way. But, you know, I'm thinking that there are some that may see this or stumble upon this and think, you know, there's some validity to this, and it is something that needs to be addressed. And it is something that we got to work on, and it's worth working on. It's worth fighting for, you know, our great-great-grandchildren having better communities. I mean, working on so that you can be better for your wife or your future wife, for your future spouse, for your future kids, being better for your friends, being better for your brothers. Like, we want to be in a good place so that we can help those around us, because that's what it's about. You know, I really believe that, you know, God created us and designed us to live for his glory and for the good of others. And this is kind of like a side tangent, but I'm wrapping up here. We're here to do good works, to create things, to build things, to have a huge impact on this world. And we can't effectively do that if we're messed up in the head. We can't effectively do that if we're making bad decisions and cultivating bad behavior. We can't do that. And so we need to do the work so that we can be who we want to be, you know. And sure, there can be a lot of pushback, you know, in our community. There are women out here who really care about us, sisters, moms, girlfriends, whatever. Black women who really care about us, and they're expressing their grievances and trying their best to help us out. They really just want us to win. Because if we win, if we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, our community will be better, 100%. If we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, everything will get better because we're the leaders of it. We are. And it's no different from any other group, whether you're white, Hispanic, Asian. Men are the leaders of their community. And it's important that we lead effectively. And that part of that leading is also serving effectively. And we can't do those things if we're not healthy, if we're not in a good place. So I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you for watching. If you made it to the end to hear these thoughts, hear my opinion about what's going on in response to like this manosphere stuff, high value men, red pills, all that stuff. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Praying that we do the work to get better, you know, individually, but also collectively. It's possible. Peace out.